I want to talk about why most people don't become successful or they only get a little bit of success. It's like when you start something and it goes slightly well. So you're having things, some positive feedback and you're taking some steps in the right direction. And then suddenly it comes back in your face and something happens. It's a setback. It's some critical feedback. It is a disheartening comment from somebody, and then suddenly you just, what up, you throw in the towel, you stop doing it. What I truly believe, as well as limiting beliefs, which is actually more important to build a better relationship with, is resistance. The resistance to the change is by far going to be more challenging than just the limiting belief. We all share limiting beliefs, and those beliefs have come from childhood. They've come from years and years of what happens is, first the limiting belief is planted like a seed, and that could be the way a parent spoke to you, or a teacher, or some trauma or bullying, or you were a bully to someone else, and it was created then. So the seed was planted for the belief, for the core belief, the limiting belief, as we call them once we're adults, because they limit us from the amount of success that we can have. So once that seed is planted, every day afterwards, which for a lot of people can be 10, 20, 30 years on, you are watering and nourishing the soil with experiences which really just cement down that belief system. So, for example, if you were told to be quiet as a kid because you were more expressive, then you will attract experiences that solidify, cement that belief system into you, because that's what kept you safe. That's what gave you security growing up. So as much as we call them limiting beliefs once we're adults because we're aware of them and they're holding us back, they were actually protecting us for majority of our life. So they're very, very important when it comes to our development, and it comes to us becoming strong and resilient. The whole process of growth, self-development, working on yourself as an adult is about peeling back those layers that created that belief system. So you're pretty much digging up the plant that you have been crazy psychologically to yourself, because you think, why would I destroy something that I have spent so many years developing? And so when you're letting go of limiting beliefs, or you're fighting them, it's this really weird detachment process. It's almost like if you've ever had a best friend for years, like a childhood friend, or you've been in a relationship for years, you've built up this emotional attachment to them. So letting it go doesn't seem right. Letting it go doesn't feel like something you should do. You actually find ways to look at the bright side. You find the good things, or even if there's only one or two good things, you enhance the value of them in order to avoid the loss. Whereas the longer that you wait, the worse that situation gets. The deeper you go into the bad relationship, the deeper you go into the bad belief system, and the bigger that gap becomes from where you want to go and where you're at. And the fear starts to bubble up between that. So in that gap, what's starting to happen is the self-doubt, the victimizing yourself, the fear starts to rise, the anxiety, the depression, because you know that you should be over in this position. You know that's where you want to go, and you're being held back. And so limiting beliefs are those nasty yet incredible things that we've created that are a huge part of our lives as individuals. You are dealing with your limiting beliefs on a daily basis. You wake up in the morning to your limiting beliefs. You go to sleep at night with your limiting beliefs. What I truly believe in, and I'm really excited to be in this realm where I get to search for successful people and I go on my own journey of creating success, because the toughest thing separate from that is the battle with the resistance. Now, the resistance will come in the form of many different things. And as soon as you start something, you'll find this out. And your insecurity, your fears, your big red flag internally is telling you, run, 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 don't do this, don't do this. We have to push through that with everything that we have. And it's almost like I think of the movie Gladiator or something. You need to be so sure of yourself. You need to back yourself. You need to fearlessly run into battle every single day when it comes to resistance, because the limiting beliefs, you know what they are. Yeah, if I asked you and you were just totally honest with me, you'd be able to tell me at least 3 or 4 things that you tell yourself or excuses that you come up with for why you haven't done something or why you're waiting to do something. So that's not really the problem. And that's not really the focus, because that's a part of every day. It's how you are actually dealing with the resistance that comes up every day to doing that. And what we don't like, and I certainly don't like this, I'd love to hear your opinions. What we don't like is not doing it right. And this is a huge, huge problem with people not becoming successful, is you have to get it wrong. You have to say the wrong thing, or you have to make the wrong decision, and then you have to learn from that. And it's not the most sexy, tantalizing thing to think about, yet that is the defining factor, or one of the defining factors that makes someone successful versus someone that fails. And I was having a meeting with a mentor of mine last night, and I'm excited because I'm starting something that's new, that's completely led by myself, and it is one of the most terrifying endeavors to think about, because on one hand you feel that it's totally right, you can see it, you can feel it, and on the other hand, that small person inside of you just raises their hand and they're like, what are you doing here? Why are you doing it? Why not play it safe? Why not play it safe? And so that voice is telling you to pull back. Ceiling of success. Exactly. Your thoughts, Sarah. Ceiling of success. Yeah. I think what are you referencing to? Just elaborate. But to me, the ceiling of success is like your current level where you can get to. What I think really creates the anxiety and the fear between where you are and where you're going is the fact that you're disappointed that you're not there yet, and you should be there. And that's the reality, is you want to get to that spot, you want to be at the finish line. And that's a lesson that I have to constantly be reminded of, is patience. Patience is one of the most important skills to have with any success. If you try to, I have an opinion on this, because here comes this is me resisting on my ego. It's like, on one hand, you want to be patient and you don't want to make rash decisions. On the other hand, people can use this as procrastination. They can use it as an excuse for never getting anything done. And you fall into inaction, which will destroy your chances of success. And so, often in my seminars, I talk about having a sense of urgency, and urgency to take action, and urgency to do something. Otherwise, you get paralyzed, you get stuck in your head. And it's more the battle to move your body, to breathe properly, to actually breathe and do something, versus rushing or not being patient. Because even if you ran out of the gates and you started a new project, you launched in way too early, yeah, you're going to fail, but expect to fail. Expect to fail, and use that opportunity of failure to change something that you're doing, to modify a process that you were using, to update your skill set, to create better character of yourself. And I'm cringing because I can feel that I'm about to go down that road. And the reason I cringe is because it is daunting. I don't believe that gets easier. It is daunting. And so understanding that I have chosen the road of discomfort in order to fulfill my potential, I have to be excited about that. And I'm sharing this with you because I believe that every single person that is not only on the journey with me right now that is tuned in, and the people that are going to be down the track, you can feel this exact same thing that I'm talking about. Anybody that is ambitious, anybody that is curious, anybody that is creative, you have this exact burning desire within you to go out and do that very thing that frightens you the most. And we can play it safe. You could go and get a job. You could go to university. You could go to college. You can follow the dotted line, and you can have what your parents told you to do, or what your peers tell you to do is the right thing. And if that's what you feel that you want to do in life, by all means, go and do that. If you feel inside that there is something bigger, or there is a dream that you have, or there is a vision that you want to see in the world, then it is your duty to go out there and to fulfill that. As uncomfortable as it will feel, and as much resistance as you will get, and as many negative thoughts that you will have to push through, it is better that you go out and you fight that battle than you become okay and mediocre in comparison to your best, not to somebody else's, to your best. If you can feel you can do better, if you feel that there is more, then it's your responsibility to go out and do that. And that's a battle that I face every single day. What this mentor said to me last night was really powerful, and I want to share it with you guys if I can. It was really, really powerful, and not what you want to hear. It's never what you want to hear. And he asked me a question, and he said, Sarah, if you go for this the first couple of times and you fail and it doesn't work and it's not very good, are you going to throw in the towel? And I took a breath and I looked at him and I said, no, I'm not going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to give up. I've done that too many times in my life to do that again. And having that assurance, is that even a word? That conviction is one thing. Now it's to follow it with actions. And that's what I'm excited about doing. And that's why I'm doing this video, is because those successful people we see out there, we need to study them. We need to find every single person out there that has created their own version of success in their industry, in their field, and define exactly what those traits are. Not even the traits. Like, there's lots of books out there about why people are successful. Yet to me, what I find way more powerful is to hear the stories. Like, I listened to this mentor of mine that, a new mentor in terms of business, really successful in media. And his story is what ignites my passion. His story is what motivates me. And that's what I care about, is finding those stories that have those little nuggets, the feedback that will get you from the problem you're facing, the challenge you're facing, the limiting belief you're facing right now, the resistance you're facing right now, to get you to that next level, to get you to that next problem. I mean, the real change is you've got to be excited for the next failure. How can you be excited for the next failure? I'm sitting here. I went out, I did a bunch of work. I was really excited today. It's like getting dark here in London. And I felt really motivated. And then I hit a problem. Then I hit an issue that I'm not a professional in. It stresses me out. It's something that I find less interesting in the scheme of this journey, yet one of the most important things. And that's where I felt that fear rise, that procrastination rise, that are you going to give up feeling came up. And I really have an obsession, a passion surrounding figuring out the psychology of why we give up. Figuring out I actually even have a group mentoring. I do group mentoring. And this is one of the things that I study with every client is, when do they give up? Why do they give up? Is it emotional? Is it connected to emotions? Is it connected to failure? Is it connected to somebody saying something to them? Is it connected to fear of failure? Whatever it is, I have a passion to understand that, because if we had more individuals in the world that actually acted on what they could achieve and did and had more productivity and pushed through more of that resistance, we would have more success overall in the world. And collectively, as a human race, being able to get to that position is something that I care passionately about. Like, if I'm working with somebody, I don't care if it takes 20 minutes, a half an hour to have a breakthrough with them. I'm going to put that effort in, because if I can get that person to have that realization that they have the ability to achieve more, that's one step in the right direction. And that is where my passion comes for coaching. I mean, I would not do this. I don't think anybody would do coaching unless you had this real desire to want to help other people. It's really not the type of work that you do if you don't like people. And I don't mean you're a social person. I mean, you want to see others achieve. You want to see others have success. You want to share that. You want to push people. You want to create competition in a good way so that you can feel motivated by other people's success, and then you can do more. You can do your best. I want the same as Elon Musk, become a billionaire and spend it all on space travel. I love that. I was just looking at creating a vision today and really solidifying what it is. Tesla's, I believe it's Tesla. I have to look this up. Tesla's vision was about helping the world transition to sustainability in the future. I've got to look it up, but I really liked it. It was really simple. It was to the point. It was exactly what he does with that company specifically. And it was so funny. Last night, my mentor mentioned Elon Musk as well and spoke about his attempts to launch rockets and how he kept failing. And it was only on the fourth time, I believe, where he was like running out of money. The three before that had failed. And then that fourth one, he was pretty much out of money, and then he launched that fourth one and it went. But can you imagine, that's all in. That's completely going for it. And then we were talking about Joe Rogan. He was on Joe Rogan. It's so funny. He is smoking that joint. It's just it's so interesting. Oh, and then the other point, I don't know if it was Joe Rogan, but Elon Musk was being interviewed, and this is what my friend said last night, was being interviewed and spoke about the issue in Australia regarding energy. And there was this moment where he just looked very vacant sort of stare, and he looked, and then you could tell that he was becoming upset about that issue. And then I believe, this is what my friend's saying, I've got to look this up. I believe he then said, look, in 90 days, I'm going to create a solar farm or whatever that he said for Australia in 90 days. If I don't, you get it for free. It's like a sales thing, but it was more predominantly coming from deep empathy, a place of deep empathy to want to help, to want to provide us, that energy for another country. He's not even Australian, and it's just a desire for him. And he comes from an upbringing where he was beat up aggressively throughout his childhood, and to be able to have and carry such deep empathy really shows a lot about his character. So I really, really look up to Elon Musk. I think what he's doing is revolutionizing the world. And he's a perfect example of somebody who has come up against resistance and still comes up against resistance from people saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And he's still doing it. And it's not that he doesn't care, but he doesn't listen to the naysayers. He doesn't listen in the way that a failure would listen and stop doing it and allow that to be the reason why they stop. He listens to it as a reminder that what he's doing is the right thing. And that's what really inspires me about him and his journey and his vision to impact the world. Quality of your life is determined by amount of uncertainty you can comfortably live with. Wow, that's really cool. I like that, Brett. That's so true. Quality of your life is determined by the amount of uncertainty you can comfortably live with. Wow, I love that. Throwing the towel never works. Be a tiger. Keep your grip strong. Yeah, be a tiger. It's there's those moments where you just feel so inspired. I was coming back from the cafe, had a double espresso. I was feeling pretty happy. I was in the zone, Matrix style. I was hooked up, just doing my work. I was so inspired. I was thinking about all these things. Walking back to the house and just like strutting down the street, you have these moments where you feel like a tiger, where you feel like, yeah, I've got this. Then something could happen. Someone says something to you, you have a thought that pops in, you see something on social media, gone. Like that feeling can come and go in an instant. And, that's what makes or breaks people's consistent motivation. It's not about just having the sporadic bursts of motivation and inspiration, which is fantastic. It's about consistently having it. It's the everyday consistency of doing it, pushing through the tiredness or pushing through the negativity in your brain. That's what we need to help and allow each other to do as a collective, as a team. That's what's most important. I mean, I view every single one of you just on here that are following me on Instagram, on Facebook, that I've worked with, that I've met while traveling. Like, we are the team. Every single person that you meet has an influence on you. Every single person that you have in your life has an influence on you. And if today, this is why it does not matter how many times you have heard the same information, it is necessary to hear it again. Because the day you wake up that morning could be the day that you're about to say no, and you hear that same voice or that same person or a different person tell you the very thing you needed to hear. And that's what allows you to win that battle that day. This is a daily battle between you and getting to that success, which you deserve. I believe every individual deserves it. We have different circumstances. We have different challenges. We all deserve to fulfill that. And that is what I'm so passionate about. And I believe people that I meet and every single one of you that is watching right now, it's like we're in that same pathway. You're just in your own lane. You're dealing with your own pressures, with your influences internally and externally. And so if there are people like myself or people in your life or people you haven't met yet that are able to influence you, then we need more of that. And I mean a lot more. It doesn't matter if it's like some inspirational video on YouTube or if it's an individual you bump into. I mean, a family member of mine was hanging out with a friend last night, and it was funny. We both had these really epiphany moments with mentors, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but they said, oh, it's really sad because you have so much potential, but you're so insecure. And that really, really, really moved her because she can feel it. And I think that's what the definition of being in your own prison, your own psychological prison means, is the fact that you can feel the potential inside of you, yet you know that you're being crippled by a limiting belief such as feeling insecure or not confident about yourself, low level of self-esteem, things like this, or self-sabotage, not wanting success, but not being comfortable with the level of success you can get to. I guess it's like people cracking, like maybe they get to their first 10,000, then 50,000, then 100, then 1,000,000, then 1 billion. Like a lot of people are constantly trying to break through to the next level of just a financial goal, okay? Being comfortable to go, I am allowed. You always need to give yourself permission, allow yourself to be able to make millions of dollars. A lot of people from their upbringing have been or accepted the limiting belief that just have enough to get by. Just have enough to get by. And so the battle of actually going, wow, I can make billions of dollars versus no, I'm just going to stay to my average amount of money. That is one of the biggest challenges in the world. And so you can look at reaching financial freedom as a way to change your character, change your mindset, change your reality of what you are allowing yourself to experience. Because when we put structures and boundaries on ourselves as individuals, they're just choices that we make. And often we align them with our friends, our family, where we're from, because that's our baseline. If we didn't have that as a baseline, I mean, who are we if we don't attach ourselves to that? The process of detaching from where we're from or our families, opinions, and things like that, that is one of the most crucial parts of this development. Another cool thing that came out of my session last night was, you don't have to listen to all the advice that you're given. you don't have to listen to somebody's opinion. You know, as in, you don't have to take action on someone's opinion. You can listen to it, you can let it sink in. It doesn't mean that that's right or wrong. It just is. You're the one that's going to make those decisions. And you're either going to make a mistake according to your life, or it's going to be the best thing. Because, you know, if you follow what's already been done, you're not going to be someone that pioneers a new space. So you're not going to be, you're not going to do very well in the innovation industry. So it's like, you have to have the courage to lead. You have to have the courage to, you know, map out something that someone's never done before. And that's frightening, especially in the world that we live in, because we're surrounded by people that have pretty much tried absolutely everything. And so we're surrounded by a lot of knowledge, a lot of failures, or, you know, stories that people have been through. And so finding our own lane can be terrifying. Yet really, that is that pathway to getting where you want to go. And so the more that you hear this every single day, that's going to get you over that line. And that's why, you know, for a while I was like, what's the point in even putting anything out? Because it's all been said before. It's like, yeah, it's all been said before, and we need to hear it repeated to us. There is a reason why, even though there are thousands of books on success, we still want to know what the secrets are of a successful person, because we can feel that we should be there, but we aren't there. We're not doing what we know we should be doing to get there. And that's why we need to hear this every day. That's why repetition and consistency is always going to be not only sold to us, but a part of how we feel and what we know we should be doing. And until you decide to do that as an individual, you will watch it over and over again, almost dreaming, almost just living in this space where you can almost touch it, yet you have to let go of something in order to grab it. And that's the real challenge with a lot of the, just even living out your dreams. And I see this a lot with passion. If people have a passion, they're not living them out. They have the most limiting beliefs around that passion. And I can feel that. I've been through that a lot. Every sport I played, I would find a limiting belief that would crush the potential success that I could have in that particular industry, because it was terrifying to think, I can have that, I can do that, instead of letting go of that belief and grabbing it with both hands. I'm going to jump off in a second. I like your positive mindset. Thank you. It's not always positive. I think I was looking on Instagram. Somebody recommended this book, and I think it's going to be the next book that I read. It was called maybe you guys have read it, The Perfectionist. What was it? The Perfectionist Handbook. Have you guys read that? I really, really want to read it, because it talks about how to take critical feedback, how to learn from your failures. Because, you know, when you're a perfectionist, you're like, I noticed myself even yesterday just becoming reactive to feedback instead of just taking it and using it to make my vision or make what I wanted to do more specific and more detailed and avoid failure. I mean, you can never avoid failure, but you know, you literally, we're always trying to find shortcuts to avoid the amount of failure that we have to go through. But really, at the end of the day, it is delusional to think that you're going to avoid failure. So you may as well embrace it and move through it at a faster pace by finding solutions versus the excuses. Got a break. Sarah, what if you get caught up thinking money or reaching your goals will make you happy? How to find balance? Yeah, you know what? I spoke about money just before. You know, I think it's a really cool challenge because, you know, use it as a platform to see how you can create your character. Not so much about the financial freedom. What I find a lot of people do is they only focus on career because they want the money, because when we have money, we can go on nice holidays, we can buy nice materialistic things, we can look better because we can invest more money into ourselves. Yet if we don't at the same time internally work on ourselves, then you create a larger separation once you get there. And that's really, really sad and not a reality that you want. My friend told me, if you have the passion, you have the vision, and you create the plan, the money will come. The money will come. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I laughed. I thought it was stupid. I'm like, no, but you need to think about the money, this and that, which is partly true. But if you really have that vision and that passion, the money will come. people are constantly looking to invest into things like this. Not even just investment, like be a part of. Like once you make that transition, that will come. And I used to have a really bad relationship with money. And then I realized that with more money, you can influence people better. And I would prefer that the people that are in power with the majority of the money have a vision that is more aligned with what I see or what I would like to see in the world. And that is why you should make it very important to yourselves as well, and to do that. So when you're thinking about balancing both of them, I would focus on, I always see if I can do at least 2 or 3 events per year that are in relation to either money or internal work, because you should always be doing programs that are to do with your limiting beliefs, because we have a constant relationship with our limiting beliefs. Like, you've got to understand, we have a daily relationship with the limiting beliefs. So embrace it and work on yourself. It's not like you go to like one Tony Robbins event or something and you like cry in front of millions of people and you're fixed. It's just not, that's just not how it is. If you are smart, if you're successful, the more successful you become, the more you're able to tap into that and release on a consistent basis. It's something that you actually want to use as strength. Every time you go through a release, you gain more momentum, you gain more power, which you can put into your productivity. So I would view your quest to financial freedom as this, how productive can I be? And when you think about productivity, when I think about productivity, I think that means my health has to be at the highest it can be. That means I have to be networking with the right people. That means I have to be searching for people that can inspire me. That means I have to do things that are aligned with where I want to go. That means I have tasks that I want to fulfill. Like, you've got to realize that reaching something like financial freedom, or meeting with particular people or fulfilling a project, is so much more about building your character than it is about the existential result of the task that you're doing. That is what I find really enticing about the whole journey that we're going through in life. In every relationship, in every business endeavor, anything that we decide to do, it's a choice for one, which is why most people, I think, drop off, is because it's not strong enough. And I've done this plenty of times, and surrendering into the process, surrender into the process of failure, surrender into the process of getting back up, surrender into the process of screaming and crying into an open field and then going home and getting back to work. Actually just fully immerse and embrace yourself in that development. Don't suppress it. I think one of the biggest problems that happens with people that are searching for this money reality where they make lots of money, is they suppress other things instead of going through it simultaneously. So when you get a stressful thing that happens in the business or the thing that you're doing, embrace the fact that, maybe you're going to have a meltdown, or maybe it brings something up. Don't push it down to the bottom of your psyche so you don't deal with it. What's good, Sarah? You! I'd listen to your Lane story, but that's me. The financial goals is a pretty poor way of thinking. Future goals should reference the person you were yesterday and improve on that in small steps. Yes, very cool. Love it, guys. I just wanted to jump on here and do this one. The more negative person is, the more negative things keep happening to them. Yeah, I was watching a video from Mel Robbins today, and it's so true. She used to be a really, really negative person, and it would attract more negative things. Now that she's more positive and she focuses on that, she attracts more positive things. Honestly, like, I've never won anything in my life. The other day I was at an event and I won something. Like, it was an all-inclusive trip paid for, and I couldn't believe it. And one person comes up and they say, "You have the best energy out of anybody in this room." And they were like, "I'm not surprised that you got that." If you decide, you make the choice to be more positive, to see the positive, to have energy, to allow yourself to be more energetic, things will start to come to you naturally. Opportunities just are attracted to you. You attract the opportunities. The people that are opportunity scarce are usually the ones that come up with excuses, are being led entirely by their limiting beliefs, and so they can only complain versus being positive no matter what, and then allowing the opportunities to come in. So just wanted to get on here and talk about limiting beliefs, but really I want to talk about that resistance, because it's getting back up. It's grazing your knee and getting back up and doing it. It's feeling like you're wrong or that you're not good enough and still doing it anyway. That's what's most important. So again, love your feedback. Please leave your comments and keep streaming. Yeah, look, this is 2 in a row, guys. 2 days in a row, or two in a week. Like, the more you encourage me, the more I do it. I want to speak to you. I want to know you. I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear stories. I want to hear recommendations. Like, it's about the collective success. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.